It's an albizia, an eggplant, apple seedling in amongst the sunflowers, acacia. These are about 1 metre apart. Next is an almond from seed, with some chard, chickpea, beans, pumpkin in the background. Next to that, an albizia, about 6 months old, 1 metre high, from seed. Next to the albizia, an apple, about 1 year old. It's chard or spinach, not sure which one, I think it might be chard. And an albizia. And we alternate back to an almond. Again from seed, about 1 year old. Another acacia this time. A wattle. Back to an apple. We've got some dill growing in front of the apple. Some more chard. Alternating to another acacia. Almond. It's a Dryandra, pre-existing native. Pioneer species, non-leguminous. Another wattle, and another apple from seed. And another albizia. Over to a bird bath. And in here is pecan somewhere, hidden in amongst the linseed. Fallen log, providing lots of nutrients, habitat for lizards, and moisture. And an apple. Over here in the hollow of a burnt out tree, another albizia, and somewhere in here is pistachio. There we are. These are already gone deciduous. Lost all these leaves for winter. Black peach next to an albizia. And a pecan seedling. It died over the summer 6 months ago and has, as it's a seed, it has reshot from the base. Here we have some elderberry bush layer. Some more chard. This is a 1 year old albizia rather than the 6 month one old. And in the background, let's get past, is the other of two 1 year old albizias. That's about 4 meters high. And we have This is a pistachio grafted from a nursery. It's about 4 years old. This was put in here before the orchard was established. And this is very recent polyculture. Mix of legumes, lupins, some vegetables, only just emerging. This is a few weeks old. Elderberry Seedling, placed in there a few weeks ago. And in amongst the Italian parsley we have chocolate pudding tree. This was transplanted out of a pot a month or so ago. Still adjusting to its new environment. Over here we have a former Puggle Bridge. It's now at about half its original height, about 2 metres high at the beginning. It's broken down to about 1 metre. Acacia in front. And we have around the edges vegetable garden, lots of sunflowers, and we have albizzias alternating with almonds and avocados. On top of the mound we have sunflowers, lupins, and at the base of the sunflower, chia. Chia is very rampant. Spread the seeds around and it just pops up everywhere. There's some thick chia and lupins. The yellow flowers are bok choy that has gone to seed. Quite a healthy plant. Hopefully that will produce lots more in the months to come. Here's another Puggle Bridge. One layer of hay at the bottom, filled with logs and human manure, and then just used as a standard compost bin on top. We have Pistachio, it's starting to go deciduous for the winter. Albizia, and ice cream tree. It's another leguminous long-term tree. The browned off leaves are the ones that it came with from the nursery. They've burnt off due to the new conditions, and new leaves have come that are very much adapted to the local conditions. We've had a couple of nights of close to 0 degrees, and the leaves are quite happy. Another ice cream tree. Leaves are deeper green rather than red, as it lost its leaves before the other one. Another Puggle Bridge covered in pumpkin, sunflowers, albizia in the front. Over here we have one of the original Puggle Bridges. The dirt over the top is what I've dug out of the trenches around the base, where I've put in mushroom compost, fruit trees and vegetable seed mix. This is a mix of avocado, you can see the seedling in there, all grown from seed, with albizzias in between. Here we have an avocado. It's a couple of years old. It's come out of a pot and been transplanted about a month ago. Seems to be adjusting fairly well. It's about just over 2 metres tall. Almond, with an albizia on either side. Again, about a year old from seed. Here we have an apricot grown from seed. He's keeping very green leaves going into winter, considering he's meant to be deciduous. Another albizia, avocado, sticking its head up through soybean crop. That's keeping it from the effects of the frost. Avocado is about 6 months old from seed. When summer comes around in 6 months, these albizia should be about 2 metres high and will go over the top and shade out the sun. This is an older vegetable trench. A lot of the cover crops died out, and all that you're left with is the chard and the original vegetables. Some basil. It's a lily pilly, local Australian evergreen. Produces small berries, small tart berries, which I will hopefully try and turn into cider. Capsicum. And broccoli going into flower. Hopefully that will produce some volunteer broccoli all over the place. Lots of dill around an olive. Also underneath each tree, this apple here, we have nasturtiums. They're the trailing and climbing layer. Just making their way around all the different trees and plants. Wormwood. About 3 or 4 different species of wormwood. Try my hand at making some sort of spirit from those. Some more capsicums. They're all that's left from the mass cover crop that I put in here. There's a bean with sweet potato. Still growing going into winter due to the protected sheltered area. Hasn't gone into hibernation yet. Here we have a Wolfberry Seedling, a couple of months old, just grown from seed, sprinkled in with the seed mix. And an indeterminate tomato. It's just from random tomato seeds that have been thrown out with the compost. Other species of wormwood in the background there. And we have a Puggle Bridge, which is my new method for putting human manure onto the pyramids. goes over the top. You walk safely over the top, you're not crushing the hay bales on either side. And this is the most open area of the food forest. Hopefully in the next 6 months the albizzias will grow to about 2 meters and start to close the canopy up. At this stage the vegetables will start to suffer and retreat to the edges. That's where the perennials will take over. I'll do an update in about 6 months and see how this area is looking. Meanwhile, if you like this sort of thing, come out to the forums at permies.com, where we talk about time-stacked temperate food forests, homesteading and permaculture all the time.